Hello, how is everybody doing? I am going to be doing some crafts and I figured I would go ahead and go live here. Hey Dragon, you are also doing crafts. What kind of crafts are you doing? Make sure I am on live chat. Alrighty. I think we are good to get started. Hopefully nothing crashes. So I have a couple of things that I'm finishing up finally. And then I may start on a second project. I'm probably going to be partially out of the frame most of this because I can't seem to figure a good angle to where you can see what I'm doing and see me. Hopefully that'll be better. So we have, first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing this cup, which I think I showed you guys. This is the cup I made for my husband. So it has a Yoda plus a taco equals a Tacoma. I did have some issues with the paint being dry on this side when I put the vinyl on and when I peeled it off. And it is a little bit darker. It looks, you can still tell what it is. I was going to redo it, but my husband didn't want me to redo it because he's impatient. So he just took the alcohol ink in a lighter color and just went over this little part. So it's darker than the rest of it, but he said he doesn't care. You can still tell in real life what it's like. So I'm epoxying this cup. That's going to be one of the things that I do. Probably the first thing I do is to epoxy this. Finally, I am finishing this cup. I was going to do a thin line all the way around of either washi tape or a vinyl. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the flakes that I got with some epoxy. I might Mod Podge them on the seam here. I'm probably going to do the silver of a thin line to blend the two sides together. And then from there, I have the pins that we started, that I started on a different live that I've done one layer of epoxy on. I need to do another layer. I don't know if I'm going to finish epoxying these today or if I am going to work on some of the other pins. I've got a couple left over from this pack. I also got some of the more expensive ones back here, the Papermate, the actual Inkjoy ones. I have these and I have a full pack of the colored ones that I want to also do as pins. I don't know if I'm going to get to that today or if I'm going to do it on stream. I'm not going to be on here too long, but I'll be on here for a little while in case anyone wants to pop in. Hey Frank. Hey Kazoodles. Hey Angie. How is everybody doing? You're killing time trying to distract the dogs. Yeah, I'm sure Paisley's the one out of the crate right now, so I'm sure she'll meander in here at some point. Hopefully, I think she's just about done and we'll be able to not keep them separated. The only other cup that I might do today is I might do this one. I've shown this, I don't know if I showed it to everybody or just to members only. This is a piece of, what kind of paper is this called? Like scrapbook paper. And I really like this. I'm not going to keep this one. This is just one for me to do, to have posted. I'm still in the process of getting everything up and running for the website, but I want to do at least one cup like that and then see how it goes. So right now we're just going to be doing some epoxy to start off with. And I don't have anything ready per usual. I just kind of sat down and turned the camera on. So let me get my epoxy over here, which I could move it over here so I'm not reaching. I might do that for this. Hey Jakes, how are you? Am I doing a cup today? So yes and no. I am I'm starting to epoxy this cup first, which is the wood grain cup. This is how it turned out. This cup is for my husband. And then I will be doing, where's the flakes? I'm doing these flakes, these silver flakes on the brim, the meeting point of this cup, which will be epoxy as well. I'm just going to drop it in there. And then the only other cup that I may do is the paper cup that I have down here. And really all I have to do is Mod Podge the paper on, cut off the excess, and then Mod Podge the outside. Let that dry, and then I'm going to glitter it. I got new glitters. What are your big crafts currently? Currently, I'm just doing some cups and some pins to have them to stock the store once it goes live. I have the order of cups for my mom, the Green Bay Packer cups that I have to finish. I have a good idea on what I want to do with them, but she needs to let me know if that's what she wants. I don't want to do, 7 cups and it be something that she doesn't want. But this is where we're at for the first cup. I still haven't done anything. It's just epoxied. It's waiting for the decal. I have 1 cup of that has had the acrylic pour that I could epoxy and glitter this. I just heard noises. I think it's one of the dogs. And then I only have 2 that have been acrylic poured for those cups, and I have 7 total I need to do. So I have 5 more acrylic pours I have to do. So there's those. And then I have the 2 cups that I started for my dad and my brother that I need to print the decals off, put the decals on, and then do the second layer of wood grain to make it dark like this one, and then peel up so it's lighter underneath. I know a couple of what I'm doing for my dad, and I've talked to my mom, and she said that she thinks he would like those. We're still on the fence for what to do for my brother for that, though. I gave her a couple of things I was thinking of, and she's gonna follow up before I do that. So I may do one of those cups. It kind of just depends. Most of you guys were in my either members only live or my live stream earlier. I can't remember if I said in that. Today is actually my 9-year wedding anniversary. So once my husband gets off work, I'm not going to be on here anymore. So I will probably only have like 2 or 3 hours of crafting to do until he gets home. And I don't know if I'm going to be online for all of that. It just kind of depends. So we're going with the flow. Move this out of the way so I don't mess it up. And I've moved my big tubs of resin right here for now. I could probably put the cup on this spinner once it's done so I can tuck it somewhere. Because when you're doing, for me, when I'm doing my final layer of epoxy, I like it to already be on the cup or whatever spinner it's going to be on. That way I don't risk having to mess with it whenever the epoxy's on it. I just have to adjust the little cup part. Am I spinning it? Yeah, I'm spinning it the right way. How hard is it to getting into making the cups? It's not that hard. They are super time consuming, and to get all of the product to do the cups in a way to where you could sell them is expensive. Like to buy the, I'm going to put my hair up. To buy the cups, you can find some cups at bulk for not crazy amount of money, but it's not cheap, especially if you're going to be selling them. You know, you need to have a good stock of each size that you're going to be doing it in. Different colors of glitter, because if you're going to sell people, especially if you're going to do what I'm going to do and allow people to totally customize their cup, you have to have enough to allow people, because some people may want a bright orange cup, so you have to make sure you have the products to accommodate that, or that you have something close to you that is easily accessible to get that to make it happen for that customer. It's once you get everything you need for it, it's not hard to make them. Of course, there's mistakes that can be made and stuff like that, but it's really a learning process. That's why the first couple of cups I did were not for anyone to purchase. They were really for me to figure it out. Sorry, the lighting in here is going to be all over the place because I have the window open. I lost my train of thought. The first couple of cups I did were not going to be sold to anybody, to see A, if I could do it, and B, if I enjoyed doing it. I have always enjoyed doing like random little crafts, but nothing like this. And this is kind of therapeutic to me. Where's my gloves? So I am going to be having to, is it on this one? I don't know. I've got these little resin things. I'm going to be doing keychains too. And I want to do dog tags. And this one has a small little, like, different size ones. I'm going to probably be using this circle one to lay my glitter in, so I have an easy way for people to see what colored glitters I have. The only problem is there's only one circle on here. Well, technically two. A smaller one and a bigger one. I have to do that. I was going to get a little silicone mold that was just circles. That way I could do several at once. I just haven't placed that order. I need the gloves. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Angie and Dragon. I appreciate that. And Frank, thank you guys. The spinner thing looks fun. I mean, it's not bad. It does its job. I need to, at some point, as I start to get more orders coming in, I'm going to need to actually make a pretty substantial spinner. They're not that expensive. I just haven't looked into all the pieces. I'm sure my husband could do it for me. My phone is going off. Hey, Yoo-hoo. How are you doing? It's amazing. Yeah, it's expensive to start up any business. I am debating, like I've created like the shell of a store for Etsy, but I keep seeing all of these other small, like in my research, people saying that Etsy fees get really ridiculous. And like this one girl showed how many, Paisley, how much she had in sales. Like she had like $45 or $50 in sales, and Etsy fees took $30 of that. So she ended up only making $5 or $10 from her work. And if that's how Etsy is, I don't want to sell on Etsy. I'd rather have to learn the curve of a new business and like the shipping and all of that stuff. I'd rather learn all of that on Shopify if it's better. So I am trying to, that's why there's a delay, because I'm trying to figure out which platform will be easiest for me as someone brand new doing everything, what will be the safest and like the most efficient. So I'm in the process of still researching and figuring out which one I want to go with. And I'm pretty sure I looked at doing a storefront on Shopify, or I've already started one. And then I thought Etsy would be the better way to go. So I kept up with like setting everything up for Etsy, and I dropped the Shopify. But because I've been working on setting these shops up since before I announced it. Since I started doing crafts on my channel and people were showing interest, I started looking into setting that up. So it's been a work in progress for a couple of weeks. It's just getting a lot more of my focus right now. I did do a Facebook. I've got a Facebook started. I am really working on the branding. Like I want to have my logo made and everything like that before I push it out to you guys. And I'm hoping, I've been working on it. I have a good idea of what I want to do. It's nothing crazy or anything like that. And it's kind of across the board amongst like my platforms is all kind of like coinciding a little bit. So I just need to sit down with like Adobe or what is that called? Procreate, and do the branding myself. So I'm in the process of figuring all of that out. I started doing that this morning after my live stream, and I think I have it figured out to what I want. I just need to make my vision come to life. So I will be doing that over the next couple of days, and I'm hoping by next week I'll be able to let you guys know where you can go for those things, link all of this stuff, and then start using the same named YouTube account for when I do my lives. I won't be doing them on this channel anymore. They will solely be on the other channel. So try to make sure this doesn't go too fast. Yeah, I know Amazon has this homemade section too. I don't want to take on too much and then get overwhelmed. So I'm trying to go slow and do what I know I can handle at a time. I have to be careful and make sure I don't do too much epoxy on this, because he's picky about how thick his cup is. Usually when you have glitter cups and stuff like that, you do a flood coat, so you don't have to worry about any glitter sticking through or anything like that. He hates the flood coats. So I'm going to try and make sure I keep this pretty thin, as thin as I can, but to be sure it smooths over all of where the decals are at. Facebook. Yeah, I've done the Facebook thing and applied for the commerce to like sell stuff on there. You have to go through a review process though, so it's being reviewed. Hey Tina, how are you doing? Hey Michelle. Yeah, Kazoodles. Etsy brings customers to you, but a lot of people like point out, although you come with like people already on the platform, you're also being compared to your competition on Etsy because they'll show your competition right next to you. And if they're running a sale or anything like that, people are going to probably be a little bit more inclined to go with the cheaper alternative to your product. Which I don't even know how much these cups are selling on other sites. I've I've heard and seen a very wide price range. This one spot over here that isn't getting any epoxy. There we go. You're happy on Shopify? Yeah, I think I'm going to look more into Shopify. I was kind of going with Etsy because it seemed to be like more beginner friendly, but I don't mind if I have to like do the research and learn how to do it. I don't, and I have almost everything you need to do it on your own. So I'm not too worried. I just want to have a place where everybody can go, and I'm not to the place where I think I could build my own website. So I want to use a platform first. Trying to make sure I get the bottom of this cup pretty good. Yeah, the big downside is the comparing competitors. Yeah, so I'm still looking into that. I'm hoping to have everything up, or at least somewhat up by next week. And if I run into any issues, like I'm probably going to go ahead and like post the other channel that I created for the crafts, and then you guys, if anybody's interested in purchasing or they know anybody who's looking and they want to look at the shop, you guys will know at least what the name will be, and I'll keep you guys updated on that, like where things are going. And then this channel will be just commentary on like the true crime stuff. I've got a lot of stories I'm starting to look at that have been sent to me. There'll be some commentary on YouTube stuff that I find interesting, that I think needs to be talked about. Open discussions. Pretty much open discussions will be like the only live streaming I do on this channel in a few weeks, except for like my members only. You guys are still going to get your live streams weekly, and the Zoom calls for the upper tiers and all of that. That stuff will still happen. So we've got a good layer. It's not too thick, but it does cover and it is smooth. So I am going to move this off to the side for it to keep spinning. I forgot to grab a trash bag. There's one back here. I'll be right back. Okay. So I'm going to just move this over here. And let that spin so it can continue to set. That's cool, Frank. I'm not good with clay. You want to check Shopify now? Yeah, I hear Shopify, like there's a learning curve with it. It's more based off of SEO than like that's really how you can get your shop seen is based off of the SEOs. But once you get that down pat, the fees that they do and stuff like that is not near as bad as Etsy. I do not follow any Parcast podcasts. Not even sure what that is. I have always been a true crime junkie. That's when I'm watching TV, typically I'm watching some kind of true crime. ID is about the only channel service I use through Hulu. I just go to the network and watch stuff, binge watch their series or their, I don't know, shows. I binge watch them. I am not going to do like current event true crime stuff though. It'll all be stuff that you guys have sent me. A lot of it is child related because that's where my expertise is, my knowledge is. So people like to hear my take on that stuff, which I appreciate because I'm glad I'm getting to, you know, educate and help break down stigmas. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do, this is super messy. That's the only thing I'm like hesitant, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one. And I think I am just going to try to use Mod Podge and see if I can get Mod Podge to stick to this. The little foam insert broke, so it's like the weight of the cup will push the cup down. Can you guys somewhat see what I'm doing? Yeah. All right. So I will need a little brush. I organized all of my stuff over here and over here like last week, and it's already kind of confusing. I have gotten some supplies and more stuff in, and I don't know what I did with the brushes that I got. I have to find them. Oh. They were down at the bottom. I'm going to use this little one so I don't have to pour out of the big one that I have. I need to move this over. I can't see what you guys are saying. Cold pressed soap. Stuff is so messy. I haven't opened this one. I opened the gold, I think. No, I did open this. Yeah, I grew up watching, I think a lot of where my, I don't know. I really don't know. I find it interesting and intriguing. That's really why I like true crime. Sorry if you guys can hear like the cars going by. It's a busy time of day. I don't know if I should use my hand or if I should use a tool. We'll try to use a tool and see if this does anything, if this is helpful or not. These are just some tweezers. I think it's probably going to be better if I use my finger. Yeah, it's not going to work without. My fingers are going to end up super sticky. That's okay though. I don't care if you guys say certain words. I'm not worried about if my stuff stays monetized or not. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And I'm pretty, I mean, I don't know how that stuff works. I don't want to say anything that's not true or not right just because I don't know. But I have stuff that's demonetized. That is monetized where I curse and I say things. So I don't know if YouTube is just more finicky with certain channels than with others. I'm not sure. I know you guys can't exactly see what I'm doing, but I'll show you guys as soon as I get it done. Once this all dries, I'll have to like spray it down with a sealant, and then I'll have to do one more layer of epoxy, and then this will be ready to send. I could have had this cup done a lot sooner, but I talked to her and I showed her where I was at with it a little bit ago, and she was like, okay, well, once I get my, once she gets her PO box, she's waiting to get a PO box. Once she gets that, she'll send me the address and I can send it to her. So there hasn't been a rush for it to get done. And with everything else I had going on, I kind of let all of this stuff sit. I don't know how thick to make this. I just kind of want it somewhat uniform, but not like, you can't really get this stuff to be perfect. This flake stuff, if you've never messed with it, it's got a mind of its own. People use this stuff for their nails. You can use this glue on pretty much anything. Not glue, this foil stuff. You try to be careful. Yeah, I understand, especially because some creators do care. They want their stuff to stay monetized, which I understand. So they ask like people not to curse and stuff in the chat. I honestly don't think most curse words affect the chat, because I've had people's comments that were pretty awful not end up in the held review. And usually, if YouTube's going to have an issue with a word or a comment, it ends up in the held review. So, all right. Clearly, the stuff is messy. It's the same car that keeps like going around. There's super super noisy. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, Britt has seen the cup. I sent a picture of it to her once it was almost done. And I had asked her input actually on what to do for this part, and she really didn't give me any. So I'm just going with it. Don't want both hands to end up all gross. Sorry you guys can't see me. I'm too short to sit down and do this. Can't see the top of the cup. Hey Susan, how are you doing? Axel is cute. He's an adorable boy. I'm also one of those people that find almost every dog or cat cute, even if they're not. Oops. This side is where it's not as even. Some of the glitter got all mixed and like bled into the other glitter. Can you sand after the coat dries? After any epoxy dries, you can sand it down. This stuff lays pretty flat. So what I typically do, especially on like chunkier glitter like the other side, or on cups like this with the big chunky glitter in it, what you do is you try to lay the glitter flat as much as you can, and then you seal your glitter before you epoxy it so it doesn't bleed, and then you do a thin layer of epoxy so you can hand sand any pieces that didn't lay flat. And then you wash the cup and you put your final, that's when you put decals on, and then you put your final layer of epoxy on over that. Having a hard time getting these chunks of stuff to break apart. But this stuff lays, the stuff I'm putting on this cup lays pretty flat. So once I seal this, I don't think I will need to go in with a hand sand. I think it'll be pretty good to just seal with a final layer of epoxy. Oops. What am I putting on here now? These are just little leaf flakes that I'm putting on the cup now, and it's really just to seal the division between the brown side of the cup and the white part of the cup. Silvery white, I don't know, iridescent. anything to stick right there, and it's really frustrating. Will say it is rather distracting to have my window open. Usually I don't have it open because I don't need the light with all my other lights, but I figured it would actually give us good lighting today since what time of day it is and everything. That's been more distracting for me than anything. All right. Definitely not perfect, and it's definitely not straight, but that's okay. Don't mind if it's not straight. So this is where we're at with this. So it's hard to see because it's silver and the side of the cup is pretty much silver. But it covers up that weird division that we had. So this just needs to dry now. Put this over here. That's a pretty thin layer of Mod Podge, so that probably will dry in like 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll be able to spray it with some sealing spray, and then I'll be able to do the final epoxy on it. I mean, these are tumblers, so I guess they're kind of an in-between between a thermos and a drinking cup. I don't have any thermos cups in stock. If there's enough requests for them, I would be open to expanding to those. I have one plastic cup that I have glittered and epoxied, and I sanded it down, which is why it looks so dull. I need to wash this and then do a final layer of epoxy on it. But this is how it turned out. I started this cup a while ago. I will say these cups will look better with either one glitter or the other. Like I tried to leave like an empty negative space here with some really fine glitter, and you can't hardly tell. So I learned my lesson with that one. Let me clean up this mess really quick. Yeah, the cups are, it's definitely not like an overnight process. There's different kinds of materials that you can use that will speed up the process a little bit. But overall, most cups are going to take at least 2 full days to make. And that's if you're working on it consistently. Like you do a layer, it dries, you do the next step. So, which I should be getting better about stuff like that. Alrighty. Cleaning this flake stuff up because it will go absolutely everywhere. Alrighty. So, I guess, I don't know, I could do a couple of different things. I can't get my chair to scoot up. It's super annoying. I could, I'm trying to think of what would make the most sense next. This needs to go up here with those other cups. That one's pretty much done. I think I just knocked my phone. So now what I could do is I could oh no. I could play with the pins, do another layer on the pins, or I could start on some new pins, or I can do a pour, another acrylic pour, which I've got cups to do the pour. What do you guys want to see? They look beautiful. Thank you, Frenchie Taylor. Oh, okay. It's a language barrier. I see what you're saying. Let me grab. This is what they are. So these keep your drink cold or hot. So it's got this kind of lid. It comes with a straw. So I'm not sure if you call these tumbler, if this is technically a thermos for how you guys refer to thermoses. When I think of a thermos, I think of like the old-fashioned hot thermoses that people would put soup in to keep their soups hot. That's what I think of when I think of a thermos. Just touched epoxy. This is why once I play with this stuff, I try to keep gloves on. Yeah, what do you guys want to do? A pour, another acrylic pour, or do you guys want to do some of the pins? We have all of the pins that I need to do. Or I could do something totally different with you guys, and I'll be out of frame if I do it. I'll have to angle the camera down, but something that I'm wanting to do and have been wanting to do and just have continued to push off is a set of dominoes. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I never know who's calling me during the day. So I have these, a whole set of these I have to do. Well, I don't have to do, I want to do. It's for a family member. And I have other little, like I have the keychains that I want to do a couple. I did one and I didn't let the epoxy dry all the way, so it's not shiny. I don't know if it's going to focus. I don't even know what it's focusing on. This one's not glittery at all. It was just a test to see, because for this, I used UV resin instead of this kind of resin, which has to cure by sitting, by the chemical stuff. This one cures with a UV light. So I have some little resin things to do too. I also got some mica pigments, and I got this glitter, which you really can't tell because of the lighting, but this is an opalescent glitter. I'm super excited to use this. This is shards instead of like round glitter, and they're a little bit more sparkly. I've shown this. You can see it from the bottom. I got little paw prints, holographic paw print, bigger pieces. These would have to be laid down individually. Got a couple of different glitters and things back here cooking. I do not like the UV resin. I've used it for that, and I made a couple of different, I have a ring mold. I made a couple of different rings with mica. One I made with mica pigments. One I made with the flakes. And it I mean, I got them to cure all the way, but it took a while. And it wasn't as shiny and reflective as the resin that I use, the normal resin I use. So, and this is a resin that other small shops use when they do small projects. So I don't know if maybe I just got impatient with it or if I didn't cure it under the UV light long enough. I'm not sure, but I didn't like it. I need to keep playing with it. Resin does have a smell. It doesn't, to me, it's not a very bad smell though. I actually don't mind the smell of resin. You're supposed to wear a respirator when you do resin. I don't have a respirator, but I typically do wear gloves and a mask. To me, resin doesn't smell any worse than gasoline. And I like the smell of gasoline. Don't get me wrong, but gasoline has a stronger scent than the resin does to me. So, Michelle says the pour is mesmerizing. I might do a pour. We can let the pour sit. Paisley, what are you doing? She's knocking stuff around back there. So we'll do one pour. I'll at least do one pour today. And then depending on what time it is, I may go on and do some of these smaller projects. And depending on where we're at as far as time, I may do them off of camera. So let me grab a cup. I have a cup down here that's prepped. So we've got this white cup. I need to get one of these cups. I hear you, Paisley. She's talking back there. You've been playing with resin and you guys find it relaxing. I find it relaxing. So even though I have these silicone mats down, I am going to put this layer of lovely tin foil. That way, once the pour is done, it can all just set in the tin foil and I can move this and not worry about getting resin everywhere else when I go to clean up. Most people will use like a paper plate or a styrofoam plate. I haven't remembered to grab that, so I just use what I have, which is tin foil. Maybe one day I'll remember to grab them or order them off of Amazon. So, pull these out. I'm going to end up needing a popsicle stick. I thought there was one right there, and there's not. Got this one. All right. Let's see. This might be. This cup is bigger than the other cups I've used to pour. So. I'm just going to alternate between pouring the green and the yellow. And if we end up with a whole lot of excess in the cup, I'll just grab one of the, I have another cup down here that's prepped. So I can just grab that cup if I need to. I'm going to leave it there, and we're just going to go ahead and see. It's going to be a lot of green at first. All right. So let's see how this goes. Hey Jazzy, how are you? Hi. Well, I think that was a good amount of pour. I know this side has quite a bit more green. But there's a good bit of yellow in here. Let me just do a little bit of a help it along pour. Did I lose my popsicle stick? All right. Let that work its way down. So how do you make the lip of the cup even out? Are you talking about when a cup is done? I know that this cup isn't done. The only one that's close to being done is the cup that I did for Brit. You take an X-Acto knife, and if you have any over the lip, you cut it off, and then you take a sander and you sand it down. That way it's the cup top is like it never was touched and the lid shuts down on it. It's not a screw-on lid. These are push-ons. Once I have everything up and running, I'm thinking about including plastic rhinestone cups. Those look really fun and really pretty, and I'd like to be able to offer those. But I don't have those cups, so I need to kind of wait a little bit. To add to my inventory, I need to wait. No, there's an air bubble. So I just hit the cup we epoxied with the heat gun. That way, if there were any air bubbles in the epoxy, they were popped with the heat. They pop with heat. So I'm going to I'm going to move it off to the side and I'm going to let it just to keep dripping. So all of the extra will just pour off. And it will all self-level. So once this cup with the acrylic, once it's pretty much like it seemed to be drying on the sides, I'll put it on the turner. That way the bottom, if there's any pool because it's a divot, it can work around and not dry uneven. So I'm just going to push this to the back. Still going to be in view as it drips. I'm just going to set it right there so I have some workspace in front of me. I know you guys can't really see the space that I have in front of me now. I'm going to wipe off my hands. Way too messy for you? Yeah. I mean, it is definitely, pouring is definitely messy. This is not messy, but I always try to make sure I'm setting myself up to not have a massive mess when I'm done. So hopefully I'm setting myself up well. And I really, I got more dirty with doing the wood grain cups than with doing the pour. I'm going to put the lids on these really quick. Lids on these. Tuck that one back there. So those few projects didn't take too long. Now comes the question if I mess with another cup or if I play with like the smaller stuff like the dominoes or something else. Do you guys have a preference? Because this is the cup that I would play with next. And this is really not going to be, I don't foresee this one being fun because it's going to take a lot of concentration for me to do this cup because I'll have to Mod Podge the entire cup and then put this paper on for what I want to do. Can you put them in the dishwasher? It's not recommended. If you put them in the dishwasher, the resin is likely to wear over time and it will turn. I have 2 cups that I have put in the washer a couple of times, and the only change is the one cup that's white has like the white's faded. It's not as crisply white anymore. It's more of like a yellow. So that's one of the bad sides of resin is you can wash them, but it's not recommended. So I might do this cup. I don't know. This cup's just going to take so much concentration. Sorry, guys. I've got to text him. That was my husband calling. Just need to make sure everything's okay. What to do? I think I'm going to, I will show you guys the progress on this cup. I will do this cup later. I don't want to do it on film because I'm likely to get super frustrated doing this, and I'd rather not get super frustrated. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try and do one of these. So for this, I'm going to have to mix up some epoxy, a good amount of epoxy. And then I am going to, I'm still trying to decide if I want to do alcohol inks for this or if I want to do mica powders. So I may do one of each just as a tester and see which one I like better before I do the entire set. I need to move this. Hey, Pippi. I forgot to send you the resources. You coming in chat just reminded me. I have them listed. I will send them to you when I get off of here. I apologize. All right. I need some popsicle sticks. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Nana. Yes, all of the cups are going to come with care instructions. They're all going to come with a care instruction card. That's part of the branding that I'm working on. I've been working on it today. Hopefully I can get it all squared away and figured out by tomorrow, and one that I like. I have a vision and I want to put that vision, I want to make that vision a reality and see how that looks. It may need some tweaking. So I'm going to be doing that over the next couple of days. All right. This cup is really, really dripping. Just gonna leave that popsicle stick right there. So I have a little bit of epoxy still mixed in here. I can guarantee it's not enough. we could use this UV resin. I'll just have to go grab my UV light and see which one looks better for a test. I haven't shown you guys these because there's just so many, but I got a whole little, I mean, there's quite a bit in these. This is resin, not resin. These are other mica powders. So these are pretty, most of these are shimmery. Look at that. So pretty. The real color isn't, of course, coming through on camera. It's like a teal color. But it's going to do, I wanted some of these to be like half and half, like a mixture of colors. I think the vision that I have for the set of dominoes is going to be better with the alcohol inks, to be honest. So I may just try one with alcohol inks and the resin and the UV resin and see how that turns out. So I'm going to go run. It's literally going to take me like 0.2 seconds to go get my my UV light because it's just my nail light. I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. Just the nail light. I'm gonna have to find a plug for it. Get my alcohol inks so I can find the colors. I think fuchsia's a little pink. Red. And red and black are the colors. And I don't know if it was this pearl color that made one of my other tumblers weird looking or if it was a different one. This is not wanting to mix at all. And then anytime you use these, you need a white. I don't want to use that white. And then what I'm also going to do is I am going to pour in, do I want to try these little shards? Or do I want to use a different? I want to mix like a fine glitter in with the epoxy. That way they'll be glittery. So we'll see how this works. Of course, I haven't clipped the tips of these alcohol inks because I haven't used these colors yet. I've used white before, but not this white. So just a second to do that. All right. Those are clipped. Set them to the the side for a second. Night, Frenchie Taylor. Hope you sleep well. So I'm taking this little silicone cup that I have. I'm probably just going to do one. Just to see, maybe two, depending if I squeeze too much of this out. And I'm just going to squeeze this into the cup. And then, since this is just a test one, I'm going to go ahead and use these shards. I'm just going to pour a little bit of the shards in. And I'm going to spin it. I'm going to mix it. Super pretty in there. Which I doubt, even if I show you guys, yeah, it just looks like a glob. You guys can't see. I'm just going to mix it for a second, and then I'm going to let it sit. Hey, Allison. And I'm going to take each of the colors, which is red and black and white, and I'm just going to do random little dots. The white isn't squirting out. This happens every time. I never clip the white one enough for it to actually work. Just gonna grab one of the other white ones that I already know will work. Just add some of that to it, and then I'm gonna pour some of this in now into the mold. And then I'm going to do a couple of drops once the mold settles down. I just got white alcohol ink on my working station. All right, so I did a little bit more of the alcohol inks, and I'm just going to finish up and make sure there's enough resin to cover fill the mold, rather, not to cover the mold, but to fill it. Just a little bit more. And then with this stuff, the UV resin, I'm going to take the little light right here, and I'm going, it's like 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to nuke this and see. Spray it with some alcohol. And that helps bring any of the bubbles that may have been in the resin come to the top when you spray it with alcohol. The same as if you, is when you hit it with a heat gun. With these little pieces of art resin, I've watched a couple of different people do stuff, and with these, it's better to have like a little blowtorch, as dangerous as that sounds, to pop your bubbles with heat rather than like the blowgun that I have for the cups, because the blowgun pushes out too much air. I tried to do it on one of my other smaller pieces I did. It just pushes out way too much air. Like the pressure of air coming out is too much, and it pushed some of the resin out of the mold. So we'll wait and see how that turns out. It's going to take a few minutes for that to cure. It's going to take a couple of rounds of the light going off. So we'll just wait and see. How's everybody's day going? Hope everybody's having a good day. I think this is a 60. Just got a weird spout of vertigo there for a second. I hope everybody's day's going well. This cup is still just dripping away. So this light, I believe, is on a 60-minute timer, so I'll have to redo it a few times, reset it before we'll check the work under it. This is one of the pens. This one looked, you guys really can't see. This one was like the disco one. It looked really, really pretty before, but now it's, I don't know if it's because it's not totally sealed in epoxy yet. Parts of it are still sticking out, if that's why I don't like it. I don't know. We'll see. For some of these colored ones, I think they're going to look better on the pins that have a color base. These ones that are a colored base. I have these, I've got 4 different packs of pins to try and play with. I'm hoping this little domino comes out the way I'm thinking. Otherwise, I think what I'm going to do is use the mica pigments and have the numbers. I haven't decided if I want the numbers to be red and the domino to be black, or vice versa. The domino numbers to be black and the domino itself to be red. The color scheme is red and black. Or at least that's the color scheme I want to try. Thursday morning. You're off to your hairdresser. Growing out a pixie cut will be a pain. Yeah, I never had my hair cut quite that short. I've had my hair cut short before, and I'm probably going to chop quite a bit of it off probably over the weekend when my husband can help me and get the back part, I'm probably just going to cut it myself. So we'll see how that goes. I cut my hair myself around this time last year. So it kind of just depends also. Like it's going to go through some awkward phases of growth when you have really short hair, but hair grows back. And I mean, depending on how quickly your hair grows back, you might not be dealing with an awkward phase for that long. Hopefully that's the case, especially if you're nervous to grow it out. There's quite a bit of definitely, because I used more opaque colors, it's taking a while to harden. And I just realized I had quite a bit of leftover epoxy mix with this shard, so I'm just going to pour it into this other mold next to it. That way I'll at least know what this epoxy or this shard glitter looks like. Give me a good idea. All right. Because that's so opaque, I don't know if it's going to fully cure on its own or if it's going to have to sit. So we may not have any more to do today. Also, my husband didn't text me back, so I'm wondering if he needs me to call him back. So we'll give this a few more minutes to see, about 6 more minutes to see if it does cure. And if not, I'm probably going to go ahead and get off of here for today. I don't know if I will go live tomorrow with crafts or not. I have plenty I will be doing though, clearly. It'll just depend on what the day looks like. It's working. I don't think that colorful one is going to be, I don't think it's going to cure under the UV light. It's still pretty runny after the darker one's been under there for a minute or two. Usually it should already have started to harden up, but it's still like it had just been poured. You wouldn't trust yourself? I've cut my hair quite a bit. I went to the hair salon probably 2 to 2.5 years ago. I went to the hair salon and my hair was almost as long as it is now, but this is the longest my hair's ever been. And I told the hairstylist to give me whatever haircut that they wanted, that I didn't care. Do whatever, because I'm not weird about my hair. I never really have been. And they really didn't do anything with it. They just trimmed it and like gave me a few layers, which my hair does not do well with layers because it's so fine. I liked the haircut overall, but I had expected going in like, yeah, go ahead, do something crazy, do whatever you want, and they really didn't do anything. So I'm kind of like, I want to do that again, but I also don't want to be let down by nothing being done. I don't even, looking back, I don't even think he cut more than like an inch off. I think it was really just a trim, and then he gave me a really nice blowout, which looked really pretty for the day I had it. But I can't blow my hair out. I'm not good at using my hair dryer. Yeah, the one with alcohol inks is like not hardening at all. It's like jelly. I don't think I can get the camera to angle in the right place for me to show you guys what's happening. But like the one that we poured way after, just the clear one with the glitter in it, it has already, like, I can't push in the sides of the mold, but for this one that we use the alcohol inks for coloring, I can totally move it, and it's like jelly. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. These are going to have to sit for a little bit to totally cure, apparently. The clear one is just about cured, but I did not do, I don't like this UV resin. Don't be like me and grab it. It is still definitely curing. I can feel that it's still curing. It's hot. I like how the shards look in there, but like the numbers side where the bubbles are, you can't, I didn't do a good job in pouring the resin in that part, apparently, because it's just like concaved and you can hardly see the bumps of the numbers. So I don't know if I will be continuing to use the UV resin. I think I need to play with it a little bit more. I'm too used to like the hardened resin, which is not a huge deal even for these smaller projects. It just means that they're going to have to cure for 12 hours to a day. With something this shallow and small, they will probably cure within 12 hours. So I'm not totally upset by it. I'll keep playing with the bottle that I have, and if I figure it out, I'll use it for the smaller projects. It's really what I got this for, was to see if using this in the UV light would be more efficient for small projects like the keychains and stuff, but I'm not seeing that it is. It's supposed to cure within 2 to 4 minutes, or if you put it out in the sun, like outside, it can cure from 5 to 20 minutes. This is a UV light, and it's been curing now for at least since like 3:10 at the minimum, if not longer. So it's been curing for over 10 minutes, which is more than the 2 to 4, and it's still not cured. So, and I know timing varies with darker colors, but even this one was a clear one, and it's still not cured all the way. So I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes. But for now, I am going to go ahead and go for the day. I appreciate everybody who has been here. If you guys need anything or have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But until next time, bye guys.